Dani Filth, a founding member of the English extreme metal group Cradle of Filth, is facing a huge legal case that has been filed against him in the United States. And honestly, parts of it read like a schoolyard fight. 6 people in total have essentially formed a legal alliance in order to sue Dani Filth and his associated companies and management. Former band members Zoe Federoff, Marek Schmeerder, Richard Shaw, Paul Allender, Sasha Baxter, and Lindsay Matheson have filed a complaint with Delgado Entertainment Law PLLC in the District of Arizona. In an 82-page long legal document, the 6 former Cradle of Filth members are targeting several aspects of Dani Filth's enterprise, including the Oracle Management, Cradle of Filth Touring Limited, Cradle of Filth LLP, and Dani Filth himself, Daniel Lloyd Davey. They have made the following claims. I'll give you the legal jargon and then I'll explain it. The unauthorized use and ongoing commercial exploitation of all their likenesses and images in merchandise. Unpaid royalties owed to Federoff and Schmeerder for live performances. Unpaid royalties owed to Federoff, Schmeerder, and Matheson for their performances in musical sound recordings. The unauthorized use of Matheson's copyrighted works by defendants, Dani Filth. Unjust enrichment from the commercial exploitation of Federoff and Schmeerder at in-person events such as meet and greets. And also some defamatory statements made by Dani towards Federoff, which includes Dani allegedly stating that Federoff suffered a miscarriage due to alcohol consumption. But that isn't exactly what it shows in the legal documents. So basically they're saying they haven't been paid for a bunch of shit like sound recordings, artwork, and merchandise they say they featured on, which, let's face it, is pretty common within the music industry and always has been. I'm not saying that makes it right, just saying read the small print or sign a contract. The unjust enrichment claim is kind of wild, as they are essentially saying that Dani Filth and Cradle of Filth as a brand benefited financially from having these very specific people at Cradle of Filth meet and greets and events. They claim they never gave anyone permission to use their likeness on marketing materials and VIP meet and greets, and were not even given access to any accounting details of revenue the band generated from these. And this is ridiculous for a number of reasons. Firstly, you are in the band. Of course, your face will be in press pictures and used on promotional material. That's literally how a band works. And at no point were you forced to join the band without agreeing to this. Secondly, asking to see accounts for revenue generated for meet and greets you were part of when you were in the band is wild. At no point are you entitled to see this information just because you joined a band that you didn't start and have not been part of for most of its career. Again, nobody forced you to join the band if you couldn't see the accounts. Marek Schmeerder, who was a guitarist in Cradle of Filth, featured on Hammer of the Witches in 2015, The Seductiveness of Decay in 2017, and Existence is Futile in 2021. And it's ironic that he is claiming to not have received money for the band using his likeness, when the guy has literally been ripping off Hellraiser for like 20 years. Zoe Federoff provided keyboards and vocals for the group between 2022 and 2025, and also featured on the latest Cradle album, The Screaming of the Valkyries. Lindsay Matheson hasn't even been in the band since around 2020, and her complaint is that she never gave the group permission to use some of her artwork or sigils, as is referred to in the legal document. Kind of weird to see Paul Allender in the case. He was with the group from 1992 to 1995, and then again from 1999 up until 2014, and is only now seemingly claiming that he hasn't been paid for things. Federoff has also raised the complaint that she hasn't had her Sennheiser EW500 945G4 wireless handheld microphone system given back to her, valued at over $1,000, or a set of custom in-ear monitors valued at over $1,500. She also claims on or about December the 8th, 2024, a tour manager took the hard case containing her microphone without consent or authorization. And it specifically mentions how the tour manager gave the microphone to Dani Filth to use at a live show, and then afterwards it was unusable. Some of them are also complaining that Cradle of Filth management took money from them. Some members made a total of $4,800 $1,500 in publishing, but after legal fees and commissions, only took home $3,400. And allegedly, Dani took $5,000 less in order to give the others more. Now, in the music industry, in terms of legal fees and commissions, this can vary wildly. Some people are even lucky to even see a single cent. And it would seem that much of this was going on during a tour, and Dani even stated he was ready to simply pack up and go home. Cradle of Filth's manager said at the time, "I'm here to do the best for all of you and make things work, but if you persist on going down this road daily whilst on tour, and while we work out raises, then Dani is willing to go home now, as in tonight." Fedorov and 𝐕Get, who are actually in a relationship, have a very specific complaint against Dani. They left the group in August of 2025 this year, and seemingly were not happy with what Dani had to say about it. Dani says that Fedorov was involved with heavy drinking, escalating arguments, and repeated public disputes that created a very disruptive atmosphere for everyone involved, which included physical and verbal abuse. He goes on to say no one knew anything about her pregnancy, and if she was pregnant, why was she even drinking? She even contacted management on several occasions asking for help to stop. She said these statements have caused significant harm to her reputation in the music industry, her community, and beyond. Whatever the fuck that means, Toy Story. Community. And beyond! Saying this has caused loss of employment opportunities. Fedorov's partner, Marek 𝐕Get, even said in a group chat to Cradle's manager, "You are sick, evil person." Sorry, I can't. I'll do it seriously. "You are sick, evil person, trained by sickest person in the music industry, Sharon Osbourne, the criminal who should be whipped to death." Calm down, Hellraiser. Jeez. This entire thing sounds like it was started by two very toxic people that are just butthurt for not making as much money as Dani Filth. Okay, sure, maybe there is an argument for continued sale of certain merchandise, but even then, the court would also look at whether sales would even be impacted by having certain members feature or not feature on said merchandise. And kind of wild they're asking for a jury to actually trial this case. So overall, it feels like a very frivolous case in general, to be honest. They somehow feel they are entitled to every single aspect of the Cradle of Filth enterprise, and that is just not how the music industry works. They most likely saw how much ticket prices were, VIP meet and greets, how much merch was being sold, and just wanted more of the profit, and probably roped in other former Cradle of Filth members to try and make it seem like a much bigger deal than it really is. They might get a bit of a payout from this, but it won't be life-changing money. And honestly, all they've done is just ruined their musical careers. So, well done, guys. If you want to know more about the origin stories of Cradle of Filth, I've got a documentary about them right here on this channel. Go and check it out.